Okay, so now we're going to do something with charcoal. I love using charcoal. I've got some very big, large sticks here, which I use all the time, and when students are in the studio, I encourage them to use charcoal, so I always have a lot of it. It's easy to get at your local art store. And there are different thicknesses. I like to use the big, thick one. Now, we're going to do something very similar to what we did with the free drawing, but we're going with the pencil and the marker, but we're going to do it with charcoal. So, let's see what will happen. You know, we've got really nice different textures that we can do different things with, very soft or very strong. And see again what happens, what unfolds when you do your free drawing with the charcoal. You know, it's kind of interesting to use because you can get so many different effects. You know, see, I can smudge this in, I can go back over it, make it stronger. And if I want to seal it so it doesn't smudge, you actually can get some charcoal fixative. But if you want to cheat, you can also use hair lacquer. So that's what I use because it's far less expensive and it does exactly the same thing. So if I wanted to seal that bit, I would just spray it with some hair lacquer. I haven't done that bit because I just want to seal that. Now, you know, again, you might ask, what is the point of doing this? Am I not just scribbling? Well, yes, I am. But scribbling is good because it loosens you up. It gets you out of a thought process of, is it good enough? Is it something? When you're scribbling, it doesn't matter, you know. You could liken it to doodling in a way. And if you think that, you know, the masters, Leonardo being one of them, on many, many of his sketches, he used to doodle down the side because it keeps you loose. It helps your creativity just do things that you wouldn't kind of think about because you're not thinking. You're just actually playing. And in this play, you start seeing different things. Now, what I want to talk about a little bit is this method that I use in teaching art. If you like, you have two ends of the scale. You have the creative side and you have the skill side. Now, if you just start with the skill side and you progress down that path and you find that you can't achieve what it is that you want to achieve because you haven't got the skill to do it, then you tend to get demotivated. However, if you start at the creative side with this playing way of things that I'm doing now and then the things that you're going to do, we actually get to the skill. We find out through our creativity, through exploration, where we can go and how we do it. So that's the reason why I start very much with the creative side of things to start with, and we build on the skill as we go. So here's something that we can just play with charcoal and see what happens. Now, my tendency in my drawing is to do a lot of circles. That's just me. But as an exercise, what's really interesting to do, I'm going to turn this over, is to, first of all, look at our basic shapes. So we've got circles, we've got squares, and we've got triangles. Okay? And everything else is a derivative of that. But if we actually creatively just actually do a painting or a drawing simply using squares, so that squares could also be rectangles, but without introducing any circles into it or any triangles. So, for example, on another piece of paper, you can just be doing images and lines of squares. Let's see what will happen. Now, I'm going to actually put in the notes some drawings. I'm a big Paul Klee fan, and all his work was based on geometry and shapes. And when you look at a lot of his drawings, you'll see how this comes to be. You can be actually making some really nice, interesting pictures just from squares. Okay, so that's the next thing to do, is to do some free drawings just using squares. And then the next one that you want to do, let's do it on the back of here, is, choose that one, is circles. So I'm going to divide this into two. So a little bit like I was doing before, because I'm into circles. Everything you do is a circle, from small to really big. Think about everything just being in circles. And that, you know, you could do anything. You could do dots. You could just do circles on their own. So everything is a circle. And it's kind of interesting when you do that, because you'll tend to want to do something else with it, add a square into it. But the discipline of keeping it free, but keeping it all in circular movements, you'll land up with some very interesting things. And then, thirdly, you want to do something with triangles. So this could be any number of things. Again, see what happens in triangles, and you'll get some very nice shapes just going in triangles. And again, if you have a look at Picasso, for example, you'll see how he has really gone to town with his shapes. I'll put again some pictures in the information, so you can have a look and study them, see how they have actually moved into doing paintings simply with different shapes. So, experimenting with charcoal and experimenting with shapes. So, take a bit of time on this, because this is setting a really good foundation for your painting as we progress in the course. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.